Our speaker this morning is Alyssa Diwale. Alyssa is a four-year student from Collegeville, PA. She's a two-year co-chair of the DEI Student Council, a student alumni ambassador, co-president of the South Asian Student Alliance, and a member of Young Women of the Hill. She's also the proud roommate of Pokia Baritram.
Today is November 1st, 2021 at the Hill School. I'm so grateful to attend a high school I love. I wake up at 6 a.m. and get ready for my day. I arrive on campus a bit earlier so I can get to my swim meet and meet up with my friends. I finished up some classes and made my way to lunch with my friend group, sharing stories and enjoying some acai bowls. After school, I got to crew practice and enjoyed my afternoon escape on the water. I end the night surrounded by everyone who makes this place feel like a home. Today was an amazing day. I'm so proud of myself for making it here. I am so thankful. What I just read to you is part of a manifestation letter I wrote to myself on March 5th, 2021, exactly 5 days before I would find out I got accepted into the Hill School. At the time, I didn't know I got in, but I wrote this letter as if I had already arrived. For those of you who don't know what manifesting is, it is simply a way to envision a reality you want at a specific time and place in the hopes that it will one day become true. Starting in middle school, manifesting became my spiritual outlet and a normal practice my friends and I constantly fixated on. Usually on Sundays, we would sit down and eagerly manifest it as if our lives truly depended on it. My friends' letters would usually be about something a normal 14-year-old child would wish for, like getting good grades or bringing a specific person into their life. On the other hand, mine had an overall theme of borderline delusion. Some consisted of becoming a world-class Olympic gymnast, some about becoming an extremely qualified STEM prodigy student who won countless awards. And some were even just my impatient hopes that I would finally become a varsity athlete. Each letter leading up to my acceptance to Hill became more and more fixated on an idea of this perfect version of myself, who I was, what I did, and what I looked like. In my mind, coming to Hill was my opportunity for a rebrand. I was insecure, constantly comparing myself to others, feeling like I never quite fit in with the beauty standards. I wasn't the best athlete, although I tried karate, gymnastics, volleyball, swimming, the list goes on. And so I felt that Hill was my chance to become a person completely different, one who seamlessly fit right into place. A chance for me to finally see myself the way I always wanted, to feel and look like I belonged. In my first term at Hill, I enacted this plan. I chose the perfect classes, the perfect sports lineups, and even planned out my exact wardrobe for the next few months. I had a vision of everything I knew I should be doing. I remember my first week being a consistent juggle of all I thought I needed to do. I took on extremely hard classes because I thought it would make me seem smart enough. Then there was orchestra. I've been playing the violin for years, but when I was asked to recite a specific warm-up scale, I froze. I could hear the notes in my head, but what came out was far off from the rest of the group. And then came water polo. I've been swimming for years, so how hard could it be? Wrong. The second I dropped from the pool, my lack of hand-eye coordination hit me hard. I could barely tread water and catch a ball while doing so, desperately trying to use the egg beater method to stay afloat. In those moments, I often wondered how I could allow myself to get so lost in a place that I hoped would be familiar. Yet I stayed, thinking that if I tried just hard enough, maybe the version of myself in those letters would finally be true. Maybe I could finally feel good enough. I vividly remember one evening feeling completely defeated and soaking wet with absolutely no progress on that demanding sport, waiting for my mom in the CFT parking lot. When she arrived, I stayed quiet for a couple of minutes just until she asked that dreaded question, "How are you?" Like a reflex, I so badly wanted to say, "Fine," and move on. Instead, I completely broke down and sobbed right into her arms. It wasn't usual for her to see me in such a vulnerable and emotional state, so she immediately pulled over, and the overwhelming weight of pressure, anxiety, and stress poured out of me as I muttered my uncomfortable conclusion, "I hate it here." These words came out bitter and stung my soul. My third form year was a constant battle of expectations of what I wanted versus hating the reality of who I was. I thought Hill would be the perfect place to be my perfect self. I would fit in, be athletic, feel accepted and appreciated, and become the student prodigy I once imagined. The reality of my first year was filled with loneliness, failing grades, and the feeling of not fitting in, all leading to my questioning. Why am I so lonely in a place called the family boarding school? Why did I pour so much of my time into molding a picture of who I dreamed of being? Why, for the life of me, haven't I quit water polo yet? I felt in the way I was giving up on 14-year-old Alyssa. I spent so much time and energy in hating Hill because it was not the dream I envisioned during all those manifestations. I convinced myself it was Hill who had failed me, but as I struggled and failed, as I felt overwhelmed and defeated, I started to see the truth that I put myself through. It wasn't Hill that I hated or had failed me, it was myself. I chased a version of me I thought Hill would embrace, all while avoiding this truth, that when I had validation from others, I would feel worthy of myself. I would accept myself. I created this false reality to escape my uncertainty, but honestly, those times of insecurities never really leave unless you face them. In those moments of struggle and defeat, I realized that belonging doesn't come from being someone else or wearing a mask to fit into a different version of who you should be. It comes from accepting yourself for who you are. You don't need to be flawless to be worthy, and you need to stop pretending and start being. As I stand here at this lectern 4 years later, I sort of laugh at myself for the craziness and delusions that I once put myself through. Looking back, I realized I carried a resentment towards Hill because I never wanted to accept the truth. I fought so hard against this idea, but in doing so, I lost sight of the people and resources Hill brought me to develop who I truly am and understand my own worth. To the underclassmen, be unapologetically you. My story is not perfect, and I'm guessing neither is yours. Understand who you are, embrace it, and trust that the only validation you need is from yourself. Once I started to accept myself and love myself, I began to attract those that belong to my story. And so I urge you to find that space, those friends, that activity that is meant for you. Because the person you are today might look different from the person you'll be a year from now, and that's beautiful. To the sixth formers, with 39 days, that is only 24 school days left until graduation, don't lose sight of who you are. As we all soon approach the Dell, say our goodbyes, and part our ways to our next chapter in life, remember it's you and only you against yourself. Think about who you are when no one's around, who you have become, and what you want to bring to this world. Graduation marks the beginning of another chapter, and so trust in yourself, in the value you bring, and know you're worthy of all that lies ahead. In reflection to those letters and manifestations that once consumed me, most actually a varsity athlete, I'm not the best student, and I definitely don't wake up at 6 a.m. to start my day. Regardless, something actually did become true. I am happy. I am proud of myself for making it here. I am so grateful to attend a high school where I found friends I can call family and learn from the most amazing mentors that helped me find my way, some of whom graciously joined today. And I am so thankful that letting go of my unrealistic expectations challenged me to start loving myself and find the true beauty of who I am and who I'm still becoming. If you're going to take one thing away from this chapel talk, let it be this. Let go of the version of yourself you think you need to be and start embracing your worth and who you are. Because the more you embrace your true self, the more you will realize that you have always belonged. Thank you.